Prime Minister of Pakistan is visiting Saudi Arabia, and during his stay in Jeddah, he met Crown Prince and Prime Minister of Saudi Arabia, Prince Mohammed bin Salman.
So anytime a high-level delegation, either from Pakistan or
From
Saudi Arabia, undertake bilateral visits, they are hugely important, not only from the bilateral standpoint, but also from the regional standpoint.
How these security concerns could be addressed by regime in Afghanistan?
You need diplomatic efforts, like Pakistan has raised the issue with UN Security Council. We have raised the issue with China, with other friends who may have influence over the Afghan government.
How do you see the future of peace in Gaza? Ultimately, Israel has breached the trust.
This senseless war or the atrocities have been ongoing for more than a year now. It is the responsibility of the international community at large, and particularly the Muslim countries, to jointly work for restoring peace and ensuring two-state solution for the Palestine.
Iran must hold talks or be ready for the consequences. If Iran is attacked, it will destabilize the entire region. So how you see how this imminent crisis, which is looming over this Middle East, particularly threat over Iran and particularly nuclear program, how it could be prevented?
Any military altercation between Israel and Iran, or US involving US and Iran, right next to our borders, would be catastrophic. It will destabilize the entire region.
How do you see Saudi Arabia's role in regional security, particularly in resolving the Ukrainian conflict?
Saudi Arabia, with their friendship, as you said, with the Trump administration, can play a key role in addressing some of the issues that confront the region.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hello and welcome to program Inside in V News English. Prime Minister of Pakistan is visiting Saudi Arabia, and during his stay in Jeddah, he met Crown Prince and Prime Minister of Saudi Arabia, Prince Mohammed bin Salman. And according to an official statement, bilateral defense and security cooperation between the two countries came under discussion. In addition to this, several regional security challenges also came under discussion. Prime Minister of Pakistan thanks Saudi leadership for its strong commitment regarding investment in Pakistan in diverse fields. Both sides also discussed common issues, bilateral matters, and agreed to enhance bilateral cooperation in different fields. How significant this visit by Prime Minister of Pakistan to the kingdom? And when both leaders met, according to the official statement, main focus was on defense and security cooperation and regional security challenges. So what regional security challenges are actually that both sides are discussing, and both sides have agreed to enhance cooperation in addressing these regional security challenges and agreed to enhance bilateral defense and security cooperation. To discuss this all, we are fortunate to have with us former Ambassador of Pakistan to Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Admiral retired Hasham bin Saddique. Ambassador Hasham bin Saddique, sir, very warm welcome to program Inside in V News. So, in this meeting, according to the official statement that you might have seen and read, main focus was on security and defense cooperation. So, you have also been actively working in the field of defense and security. How do you see this particular agreement? Although there was an agreement, there was discussion on investment, security, and these things. But on the top of the discussion, there was defense and security cooperation between two countries. Ambassador Hasham sir.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum viewers. Thank you much, Mateen sir, for invitation to speak on a subject which is hugely important at this time. Obviously, from the defense and security standpoint and regional security calculus, I think there are three key issues as far as Pakistan and Saudi Arabia concerned.
Hmm.
At the moment, Middle East is in a tumultuous situation. Topping the list of the security agenda is obviously the senseless and atrocities being committed in Gaza, and the future prospects of a two-state solution for the Palestinians. So that, and there is a great congruence on both on this issue between both the brotherly and bilateral countries. So anytime a high-level delegation, either from Pakistan or Saudi Arabia, undertake bilateral visits, they are hugely important, not only from the bilateral standpoint, but also from the regional standpoint, being one of the two of the most important Muslim countries within the region and in fact across the Muslim world. So that's topping the agenda. The second agenda is obviously the situation in Red Sea and Gulf, in Gulf of Aden, and specifically in Yemen. Both Saudi Arabia and Pakistan would like to see normalcy return in Yemen and also free flow of trade within the Red Sea area. The third item, as far as Pakistan is concerned, and where it would like to seek not only the help of the entire world, but more so from Saudi Arabia, and that is the situation in Afghanistan. That is, we feel
alarming.
That's alarming, and from Pakistan's standpoint, that's very, very critical that Afghanistan, the government, the interim government in Afghanistan, undertakes measures to stop cross-border terrorism, and especially harboring terrorists wanted by Pakistan. So, and the fourth on the agenda is obviously the internal security of Pakistan is not only important to us, but also important to our friends, and particularly Saudi Arabia, which has always stood by Pakistan, not only to fight internal threats, but also the external threats and other challenges that we continue to face. So it is coming at a time, and last but not least, what would be the US's policy towards the Gulf, particularly Iran. Gaza, they have the cat is out, and it is not very encouraging as far as the US's policy is concerned. On Gaza is concerned. So therefore, there are a plethora of subjects which I'm sure must have come under discussion, and they are each one of is more important than the other.
During the visit, Prime Minister of Pakistan also held meeting with Saudi Investment Minister. And this Prince Khalid, who has been Investment Minister, he has been his role has been very crucial in bringing Saudi investment to Pakistan. So how you see the rising Saudi investment in Pakistan, although memorandum of understandings were signed between the two countries last year, we have seen a huge Saudi business delegation visiting Pakistan, during which business-to-business meetings took place. But we yet to see the practical flow of Saudi investment into different fields. Fields and areas have already been identified at a time when Saudi Arabia is making investment in the rest of the world. So if Saudi investment comes to Pakistan, it will be protected, safe. It will also be activating Pakistan's economy, generating job resources. And of course, Saudi companies may take back profit and other things. But it will be a strong injection into Pakistani economy at a time when Pakistan is desperately looking for foreign investment. So do you think in the days to come, these all MOUs will be converted into agreements, and Saudi investment will start making its way to Pakistan?
That's a very, very loaded question. But let me handle it from the grand strategic point of view. Obviously, our relations with Saudi Arabia in terms of political and security relations have been outstanding. Unfortunately, the spin-off which we could have enjoyed of this brotherly and a very time-tested relation in making our bilateral relations more robust have not borne fruit for many, many years. And particularly, I'm talking about the economic. There was a time when geoeconomics would trump the geopolitical. Right now, we have a number of political issues which must be addressed first. And topping the list is internal security within the Pakistan.
And that you've already spoken, exactly.
Yeah, that is tied our economic relations with not only Saudi Arabia, but rest of the world. Unfortunately, our track record with respect to realizing the goodwill that exists between goodwill that has been shown by His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Salman personally and across the board, the entire government agencies are trying their level best to make investment not only in large projects like refineries, in energy sectors, in minerals, and so many other
in agriculture as well.
In agriculture. So I think the scope is there, the potential is there, the will is there. Unfortunately, whatever is required to be done from Pakistan's standpoint, that has mostly been wanting for many, many years. One other point which I would like to make, while these bilateral relations or bilateral investments are in the parlance of government to government, because obviously the large projects like refinery, which amounts to nearly $10 billion, it has to be from government to government.
Exactly.
But I think till such time, business to business, the private sector-led growth is undertaken in Pakistan, we are not going to see the huge benefits that we intend to realize from the special economic zones and from CPEC and our connectivity with not only with the Middle East, but also with the Central Asia. And we already have a strategic partner, China, on our east. So therefore, I think a lot needs to be done in terms of our simplifying and providing a conducive environment to the potential investor, in particularly the private investment, the public investment fund, the sovereign wealth fund, which is investing all over the world. I think we need to concentrate on our home soil, where we provide the legal framework, the financial framework, and most importantly, a safe and secure environment for investment and for businesses to prosper. That is hugely important. And along with security, I think that should be the premier concern of any government or any Pakistani nowadays.
Ambassador Hasham Saab, you spoke about this security concern and terrorism emanating from Afghanistan. And for long time, Pakistan and Saudi Arabia both have been concerned. And it was Pakistan which exclusively called the Organization of Islamic Cooperation's Foreign Minister Moot in December 2021. And the purpose was to draw the attention of the Muslim world and international community on Afghanistan. But unfortunately, we see the non-responsive and non-cooperative attitude of Taliban towards addressing Pakistan's security concerns, and particularly the safe havens of terrorist organizations which are based in Afghanistan, particularly this BLA and TTP. So what do you think, which are the elements who are behind these organizations? And if this issue is not overcome properly, then as you said, it is correct that the economic business and particularly the economic growth of Pakistan may not go with that speed, which actually it should go because of these security concerns. So how these security concerns could be addressed by regime in Afghanistan, and who are the elements who are behind it?
Obviously, to address such like security concern, you need a whole of the government approach. You need diplomatic efforts, like Pakistan has raised the issue with UN Security Council. We have raised the issue with China, with other friends who may have influence over Afghan government. But having said that, our long-time strategic interest is to have friendly relationship with Afghanistan. And the people of the two countries deserve a peaceful western border and a border which augurs well for the prosperity of both Afghanistan and Pakistan.
True.
With that intent in mind, there are times when the kinetic action becomes inevitable. If the host government is unable to control, despite their vows on numerous occasions where they have assured Pakistan government that they would not harbor any terrorists or anybody who is against Pakistan's interests. Therefore, I think it is a collective interest of both Afghanistan and Pakistan that peace and normalcy return, and the dream of connectivity, which we both the countries harbor, to Central Asia and towards the Indian Ocean and further on to the Middle East, that can be realized. So therefore, I feel while we need diplomatic efforts, we need kinetic actions, the security, we also need to look inward, where the socio-economic and socio-political prongs also need to be addressed concurrently. We need to design policies, we design strategies where the poor population and backward areas of Pakistan, particularly in Balochistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, are given the necessary boost so that the local populace has trust in state and also has a livelihood opportunities, and therefore they can progress and they can be in the mainstream of the country, and they could progress at a much faster pace. Therefore, I think a wholesome approach, diplomatic efforts as we are doing, we need to double those. Secondly, at the end of the day, the resolutions is on the negotiation table. So we should make all efforts to emphasize upon the Afghan government to negotiate the contentious issues, whether those are on border openings or cross-border trade or all other avenues should be discussed. Secondly, obviously, the military action is inevitable, where to not only deter but also eradicate the anti-state elements that may exist within the borders or across the borders as well. And we need to engage with our friends to ensure that both Pakistan and Afghanistan have a relationship that is mutually benefit to both the countries.
Coming back to regional security, you briefly talked about Yemen and Iran, but first we would like to have your comprehensive views on situation in Gaza. In last 24 hours, Israel has shattered and Israel has violated, and it has broken the peace deal or ceasefire, there was no peace deal, but there was ceasefire. And so far, more than 450 Palestinians in Gaza have been martyred by the Israeli shelling. So how do you see Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, and the rest of the Muslim world has strongly condemned this? So if such blatant aggression by Israeli forces is taking place despite a ceasefire, so how do you see the future of peace in Gaza? Ultimately, Israel has breached the trust.
You're absolutely right. And this senseless war or the atrocities have been ongoing for more than a year now. The hapless people and our brothers and sisters in Gaza have withstood the tyranny, the terror that has been unleashed. Hats off to the sacrifices and the way they have withstood the immense challenges and the barbaric acts with courage and with bravado. So, having said that, it is the responsibility of the international community at large, and particularly the Muslim countries, including Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, Turkey, and so many others, Indonesia, Malaysia, to name a few, to jointly work for restoring peace and ensuring two-state solution for the Palestine, which will eventually augur well for the long and robust peace in that region. The atrocities by Israelis are nothing new. We need to make continuous efforts, emboldened by their support from the US and other allies in the West. I think time has come for the global community, including the US, to realize the plight of the poor and helpless Palestinian people in the month of Ramadan. With they have to endure heavy shelling and bombardment for no apparent reason. So I think this genocide of Palestinians needs to be stopped, and we, as Pakistan and Saudi Arabia, we need to work together to ensure that a peaceful and amicable solution can be found by collective efforts of Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, Turkey, and so many other countries.
So you spoke about Yemen. Yemen is already under bombardment by the Western Bloc led by United States. Now, the next target is Iran. There have been statements both from the Israeli leadership, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, that Israel will definitely target Iranian nuclear sites. Now, US President Trump is issuing threatening statement that Iran must hold talks or be ready for the consequences. If Iran is attacked, it will destabilize the entire region. So how you see how this imminent crisis, which is looming over this Middle East, particularly threat over Iran and particularly nuclear program, how it could be prevented?
I think you very rightly pointed out that any military altercation between Israel and Iran, or US involving US and Iran, right next to our borders, would be catastrophic. It will destabilize the entire region. It will impede the growth and trajectory of the Middle Eastern countries, and it will impact not only the regional countries, but also, as you understand, that China, Korea, India, and a number of other economies, Japan, are dependent on free flow of oil supplies from the Gulf, and also the trade that crisscrosses the Indian Ocean. So I think, in my personal opinion, rhetoric aside, I think the military altercation is not on the horizon as such. I think sanity will prevail, and the parties involved will actually come down to the negotiation table and see to it that the world is not driven into more chaos than there is already prevalent in the world. So therefore, I think any military altercation in the Gulf would be catastrophic and will have serious impact for the entire region. And Pakistan being in the close proximity will be the greatest effective of such an altercation.
So do you think any role which might be played by Saudi Arabia, because Saudi Arabia enjoys very strong influence over the Western Bloc, so that, as you said, it could be catastrophic if Iran is attacked or any such aggression is carried out? So how do you see, because we have seen also Kingdom of Saudi Arabia hosting peace talks between Americans and Ukrainian leadership, so which was quite rare, that and much before that, Saudi Arabia also hosted the Russian and American Secretary of States over Ukraine issue. So Saudi's role increasing in maintaining peace in the region, and it is taking and making efforts towards establishing peace and resolving conflicts. How do you see Saudi Arabia's role in regional security, particularly in resolving the Ukrainian conflict?
I think under the dynamic leadership of His Royal Highness Mohammed bin Salman, the Crown Prince and the Prime Minister of Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has come a long way. It has rightfully gained one of the leadership roles not only within the region, but also in global affairs. And the
True.
place which it richly deserves because of its outreach diplomatically, whether it is an issue in Afghanistan or an issue in Lebanon or Egypt or Yemen and so many other places. So I think Saudi Arabia, with their friendship, as you said, with the Trump administration, can play a key role in addressing some of the issues that confront the region. And as you understand, thankfully, the rapprochement between Iran and Saudi Arabia, brokered by the Chinese, brought in a semblance of more stability within the Gulf region. However, in the recent past, the acrimony that exists between Iran and Israel has come to the fore. Therefore, Saudi Arabia being one of the affected parties of the, should there be an armed conflict in the Gulf, I think they ought to play one of the leading roles as amply highlighted during the recent peace talks held between Ukraine and Russia. And I think once the Russian and Ukraine war is behind us, the other solutions can be found for the betterment of peace and security within the region.
You have just talked about that under the dynamic leadership of Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, Saudi Arabia is changing. Of course, there are strategic changes within Saudi Arabia when it comes to business and exploring new business opportunities, setting up of new entertainment cities and creating tourism hubs and things like that. So how Pakistan can learn from this Saudi experience that within no time, within a very short span of time, Saudi Arabia is changing, attracting foreign investment as well. There are foreign architects, they are building new cities, creating new tourist hubs, and Saudi Arabia is changing. And Saudi Arabia definitely knows that there should be alternate resources other than oil and these things, like in United Arab Emirates. So how Pakistan can learn from these things? Pakistan has every capability, good human resource, good brains, but we are far behind in attracting foreign investment. Hisham sir.
I think you have to look at in a wholesome manner. First of all, way back in 2016, that was one of the rare occasions when the Saudi, despite huge oil revenues, the Saudi growth contracted. So there was a negative growth. There was a budget. 2016. There was a budgetary deficit of nearly $72 billion because of the oil prices had come down and the other resources of revenue. So in 2015 onwards, late in 2016, they announced this Vision 2030, which is a very wholesome vision, robust economy, a vibrant economy, in a vibrant nation. So there was a wholesome, the societal change. So there was a direction whereby by 2030 they were to have nearly 50% of their revenue coming from non-oil resources. So there were clear milestones set. There are goals. There are objectives. There are intermediate objectives, and every year there is a report which comes out. And the report of 2023 says that they have, in most of the cases, they have exceeded the target set for. Obviously, for such a
before 2030, exactly.
Yeah, for 2030. For obviously, for such a giga undertaking, there would be some slip-ups. There have been some slip-ups. There is a quest for indigenization. So, what is it for us to learn?
This is the point, exactly.
3-4 things. One, the environment, the policy framework that is provided, whether it is tourism or a promotion of indigenization of or setting up industries, the framework exists. and it is very, very attractive. Secondly, there are specific objectives, and the leadership is fully involved. If you ask an average Saudi, he would know what is Vision 2030 in Saudi Arabia and where they are headed. The entire
Public
nation,
involvement, exactly.
yeah,
Public
yeah,
involvement
the
is there.
entire nation is going towards a direction mutually agreed between the leadership and so the goals have been set. The second lesson is obviously the leadership. The strategic leadership must prioritize the growth and the prosperity of people of the country. Only then, obviously, we have a number of other issues which hinder our progress, but we need to prioritize and we need to set goals. The thirdly, which I bear witness to as an ambassador, and it continues, is the governance model that has changed. Saudi Arabia is one of the uh, leading countries as far as e-governance is concerned. There are professionals within the government who have who oversee the projects, who oversee the policy formulation, who oversee the strategy formulation. Therefore, we need to learn that unless we change our bureaucratic procedures, which are antiquated and highly akin to red tapeism, unless we change that, we need fundamental structural changes. The other aspect of Vision 2030 was to, because since, up until 2015, all the development was in the economic development of Saudi Arabia was led by the government agencies. Now, in Vision 2030, they want to let the private sector spearhead that change. Similarly, we need to encourage our private sector to come in the forefront. SAFC and other agencies which which are required to provide the support and the framework for private sector to lead the economic growth of Pakistan. Unless we do that, we're not going to prosper economically. The kind of procedures which we have, the kind of financial and other frameworks that we have, they're not entirely conducive. Every now and then we have currency issues, we have this issue. So the government has a tough job on its hand to provide that stability and secure and a conducive environment for the growth of economy. So I think these are 3-4 things which we need. And second, last but not the least, the political stability and taking people along. We have this vision now, or Udan Pakistan, which is
very ambitious vision,
very ambitious and very well articulated. But when it comes from vision to reality, that is where the real issues are. So if we continue to implement what we aspire and what we say, only then I think Pakistan can progress. So political stability, conducive environment for. So these 3-4 elements we need to concentrate. And we need to ensure that whole of the nation buys into the large economic projects, and also we let private sector grow and have connectivity with the other regional countries so that we can grow economically. But having said that, the potential is there, the opportunity is there. It's only that we need to strategize better and perhaps implement better to realize this potential for the future of our future generations of Pakistan.
Lastly, I would like to seek your comments that entire world is in transformation after the 20th January change in the White House. I mean, after taking the presidency of the United States by Mr. Donald Trump, not only America is going through tremendous changings and transformation, but the whole world is witnessing. There are trade wars, strategic priorities are being changed, and things like that. In this entire changing world, where do you see how Pakistan can protect itself, how Pakistan can project its interests. We have seen recently Pakistan arrested a key most wanted terrorist wanted by United States that brought America and Pakistan together. So in this changing world, how do you see where Pakistan stands? What are the challenges for Pakistan?
So you see, as far as Pakistan is concerned, it is a nuclear-armed country. It is one of
Mm.
the largest countries in the world in terms of population, in terms of area, in terms of its capacity, both in terms of civil and also the military. So,
True.
as far as the place or the basic fundamentals of Pakistan as a state to be a regional and a global player are there.
Exactly.
What we need to do is obviously the countries have to pursue their interests in whatever environment that is thrown at them. Whether it is an administration led by Joe Biden, you will have different challenges, and an administration led by Trump would have different challenges. While the world at large is groping as to what will be the steady state policies with respect to key issues of trade and tariffs, and we only need to wait and see, and perhaps react to changing situation and react timely, and perhaps preempt some of the actions which may come from the US's administration. But in my personal opinion, I think we have at least 2 to 3 or maybe 6 months before the US's attention turns towards perhaps Afghanistan and some other areas within this region. Right now, the US's concentration is obviously in the Middle East and also
and
on
Ukrainian war.
generation and Ukrainian conflict and all. And the other trade which they have with the major trading partners like Canada, China, and other. Fortunately, we have a strategic friend, which is China, which is on the rise, destined to rise further. We have very close relations. We can lean on them. We need to not only diversify our trades and our partnerships diplomatically and all over the world, but more so, I think whereas much of the dynamics that happens in Pakistan, maybe most of it may be externally motivated because of the environment that prevails, but the solution lies internally. We need to improve our governance. We need to improve our security. We need to improve our other, as I said, governance and provide. So the concentration should be to work hard to present Pakistan and showcase Pakistan diplomatically and especially in information. Let me just say that in this era where not only the geopolitical situation in the world is in flux, but also the onslaught of the disruptive technologies is something we have jumped onto the train of the disruptive technologies, but we need to explore this avenue more so that our political, our economic, and other strategic interests are safeguarded against should there be any adverse policy change, whether it comes from the US or anywhere. But I foresee a better relation between Pakistan and the US on the issue of Afghanistan, and there is congruence on some of the issues, and we can progress as a state economically, politically, if we put our house in order.
Indeed, if things are put in order in our house, security governance, things are addressed, then Pakistan can definitely make significant progress towards achieving economic stability, towards achieving security stability, and ultimately attracting foreign investment, paying off most of the debts which have become biggest burden on Pakistan. Ambassador Hasham bin Saddique Saab, you have addressed some of the key and strategic issues like Pakistan-Saudi Arabia relations and growing relations and cooperation between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia in diverse fields. Prime Minister of Pakistan's visit and meeting with His Excellency Crown Prince Mohammed bin Sulaiman, and which are the potential areas Pakistan and Saudi Arabia can cooperate with each other in making the bilateral relations strong, making the regional stability more strong, and ultimately achieving the goals of prosperity, economic development, and peace in the world. Thank you so much. Despite your busy schedule, you participated in Program Insight and spoke about these all issues with comprehensive approach and with a strategic answer. Thank you so much. And
Thank you.
dear viewers, till our next program, goodbye and Allah Hafiz from studios.
Allah Hafiz.